This is High School, Not So Much a Musical, a podcast that takes you on a ride through the peaks and valleys of a high school journey. Here are your presenters, Nitin Jaladanki and Ayush Agarwal.
Okay, so hello everybody and welcome back to part 3 and the final part of our conversation with Arya. In this part, we're going to cover 5 main topics. The first one is going to be what Arya categorizes as an actor versus a character, his distribution with Gully Rowdy, one of the programs at his school that helps aspiring actors, one of his relatives that passed away and the profound impact that she had on his life, and finally, we're going to wrap it off with our tips question. So Arya, can you go ahead and get us started about what your interpretation is of an actor versus a character?
Yeah, so coming back to what I was previously saying, Nathan, so it's more like for the time that you have on screen, so the screen spares nobody. This is a primary difference between theater and acting, right? Theater is like very, very outgoing. You won't see every single detail as you would in a movie, right? Because it's not like in theater you can skip back previously and see, okay, what happened here. You don't have that ability to do that. The only way you could do that is seeing the show over and over again, and there's no guarantee that they make the same mistake that they previously did. With the movie, however, the screen spares nobody. That's what I like to say. The screen spares nobody. The industry spares nobody, right? You have to be strict and in character. You have to be able to live each shade of that character, right? So, Nathan, if I were to play the character of you right now, right, let's just say so, it would be hard. Unless you told me each and every detail that happened in your life, right? Like you have a mom, you have a dad, you have a sister, you want to become a businessman when you grow up, you go to this high school, you live in California, all those different types of things you'd have to tell me for me to live your character. And even then, I don't think I would be able to live your character as well as you could live your character. So that's why I call acting such an intricate piece of art, because you have to live in that character, sell yourself to the audience, present yourself in such a manner where the audience should be pointing to that, to the screen and saying, that right there is Arya. Or let's say I'm playing your character, that right there is Nitin. Even though I'm not you, let's say I'm playing your role, they just say, that's Nitin. I don't know who Arya is. That's Nitin right on there on the screen. That's how realistic a movie should appear to the audience. So that's why I stress this. Acting and actor, they aren't a word, right? Acting and actor, I don't like those words. I don't think those should be the correct usage of words to describe acting or an actor, because acting or actor realistically is, right, living each shade of the character, acting true to the character of what they would do, compared to the words actor and acting, which basically mean mocking someone, right, or something like that. Or it's like, that they are the hero of the film. You're not if the words acting and actor, it's like you're pointing to the screen and saying, that's Mahesh Baba right there, he's not in character. Or that's Junior Enter, he's not in character. Or that's Nitin, he's not in character, right? The words acting and actor are like, whoever is playing the role should be seen as that character, should be living the character, should be acting true to the character. So that's kind of like what I meant by actor versus character, all those different types of things.
Yeah, I think that's an important distinction to make, because in many movies, I feel like the main character can get kind of blurred. But specifically in like Indian movies and like Tollywood, Bollywood, what I've noticed is that the main character is very specific and very defined right off the bat. Like in all the police movies, for example, it's very obviously that one police officer who's fighting the entire system and is like in anti-corruption while every single other officer is corrupt, right? I
was gonna say, like, to me, I really like the realistic movies, which is why I talked about like Jersey, Dear Comrade, all those movies, because they're events that could possibly or have happened in real life. I also really like biopics, right? Living the character of someone that was previously alive, right? Like Mahanadi, Nitin, I'm pretty sure you saw that movie. They're basically talking about, Savitri, one of the best actors to even step foot in Telugu film industry. in the 1990s. A female lead, and I should have brought this up earlier in the female lead character. Kirti Suresh is one of my favorite female actors, and I say this because of the way she pulled off her ease in the role of Mahanati. This wasn't a male-dominated movie. It was a female-dominated movie. It was about a female that enters in the industry and all the struggles that she had to go through as a female actor in the 90s. And to play the life of someone else, I think is the most difficult thing. I think that is the most difficult thing you can do. Like I said, if Nitin asked me, let's say they're making a biopic on Nitin, and they were like, play Nitin's character, I wouldn't be able to pull it off like him. But Kirti Suresh pulled it off so realistically that when I looked at Kirti Suresh, I thought that was Savitri, right? I thought that was our greatest female actor that ever stepped foot in the Telugu film industry, Savitri. I didn't think that was Kirti Suresh, right? So it's kind of like that distinction that you have to make, and it's like, it's just I feel like it's something that a lot of our actors in the Telugu film industry actually fail to do. Because when I look at a lot of our Telugu film industry actors, I look at them and I'm like, oh, like that's Mahesh Babu on screen. Not that he's a bad actor, I'm just saying, but it's that's that's Akilakini, that's Naga Chaitanya, that's Nagarjuna, that's Balakrishna. I don't get that feeling that, okay, they're playing the character. I mostly get that feeling with all these self-made actors. And that's why I stress how important it is for self-made actors, for actors to go through that struggle, because that shapes their art, that molds their art, that gives them the best art that they can produce. And they live each moment of that character. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that was like a great insight, because I don't know if this would actually fit your interpretation, but when I watched Ala Vaikunthapuramlo, I feel like Allu Arjun really takes his character. Like he really acts as a character. Like when I'm watching Ala Vaikunthapuramlo, I don't see Allu Arjun, I see Bunty.
Allu Arjun, you Bunty.
Exactly. So I think that he did like a really good job transitioning into the role as a person, because the scene that I remember the most is like him in the very beginning. He like picks up his toothbrush and like crunches it because it's like frizzled everywhere. He really played the role well of a poor person who's constantly criticized by his dad. So I think that he's one of the people who can actually like play a character rather than an actor.
And I 100% agree with you, actually. I saw this transformation through Allu Arjun. I think he's a fantastic actor, one of the best that Telugu film industry has to offer, right? And you see all these Pushpa promos and songs so far, and you see him living in the character as Pushpa Raj. When I see Pushpa, I don't see him as Allu Arjun, I see him as Pushpa. When I saw Now Peru Suri and Nallu India, which is one of my favorite performances delivered by Allu Arjun. If you ever get the chance to watch the movie, Rishi, Ayush, and Nitin, if you want to look at a true actor's performance, watch that movie. You will see with such ease what he lived, he acted. The way you said the dialogue, right? Let's say I'm a man that has went through the Great Depression and I'm like trying to buy something, right? I would buy it in a very scared manner, right? Because it's the Great Depression happened to me. I'd be scared as shit, right? I'm scared. Like, you have to be able to pull it off like that compared to someone who's a spoiled rich brat, right? You have to buy everything at that point. So it's kind of like the different shades that you have to an actor that you have to, that kind of forms and molds each decision that you make as that character. It's kind of like you have to let go of your life. For the time that you're living in that character, you have to let go of your life and you have to live in that character. Whatever's written down on the script, you have to play whatever is written down on that script.
So one thing I noticed is that people or especially teenagers, they'll either learn acting from like going to an acting school or classes, or a lot of like public schools and private schools, they'll have courses that you can take. So like there's obviously like drama that you can take, drama classes. And I know that you have a program in your school that's dedicated to acting. So could you elaborate on like what that is and like how it helps?
For sure. Oh my, I'm so thankful to our school in general to even offer such a program like this. Our program, we have two types of acting programs actually. We have theater and we have a very, very, very unique program that puts you straight in a film. So our film program at school consists of a director editor, sound man, everything rotates. But they give the chance to actors to act on screen rather than theater, right? The difference between a theater acting and screen acting is more subtle in their movements, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen theater, but if you have, you guys know that it's very, very abrupt, and it's very, very loud, and everyone is screaming all over the place, something like that, right? And you don't see that on screen. If you're gonna do that on screen, then the industry doesn't hold a spot for you. So my film teacher, Mr. Solomon, great man. He's been there with me since 9th grade, and I will forever be in debt of him. But he's the one that he's like, hey, you're gonna become an actor. You do screen acting. Screen acting, because I'm in a program, screen acting, that no other high school, and I mean no other high school in the whole entire world has this type of program. To be acting on a screen instead of theater, right? Everyone that said they want to become an actor, they go straight to theater, and it's a very, very hard transition for them once they go from theater to screen, because theater is so loud and screen is so subtle and quiet, right? So it's kind of like that. It takes so much time, and I'm already given that opportunity to go straight to the acting on the screen in our school. And I kind of had those subtle movements to prepare me for the future when I actually appear on screen, So it's a very, very, very good program that I'm so thankful to have. And I'm making every single effort out of it to use it to my best advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really, yeah.
So what I wanted to talk about next was about Gully Rowdy and
Mhm.
the distribution company that you were part of, and all that kind of stuff. So if you could talk a little bit about Gully Rowdy, what exactly your role was in it, all the parts that you played in it, and the distribution, what your role was, and everything like that. Because I remember you were sending me like a spreadsheet of all the different theaters in California. So if you could talk a little bit about that, would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, for sure. So Gully Rowdy was it was supposed to be Radhe Shyam, which is my first release, like I previously mentioned. But because of the delay of that film, I got assigned to Gully Rowdy first. And the way I handled Gully Rowdy versus the way I would handle Radhe Shyam is I both handle them the same way. Because to me, I actually felt more of a relation to Gully Rowdy, because the hero in that wasn't anyone insanely big, just your average hero. And he was a self-made actor as well. So I was more happy to actually work with that first. So my role in that distribution was to my role in that distribution was helping with assigning the theater's list and looking at previously released movies that year that kind of pertained to that level type of actor, right? Remember I mentioned A actor, B actor, C actor. So I'd look at movies that were released in the B actor kind of category, and I would you see where the relations between each theater is like, okay, most Indians are located here, here, and here. I have this list narrowed down. Look at the previous theater list. Okay, they played here and here and made the most amount of money here and here. Okay, so therefore concluding that here and here are the best centers to release at. So that was a little bit about where I kind of went with the Tollywood distribution. I sent it to Uncle. He made a couple of edits. So because this was my first release, I did not have like the best. Like I didn't have like an insanely huge role, but at the same time, I like to think that I did, because I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity that Great Indie Films gave me to help with the distribution of Gully Rowdy, and I couldn't have asked for more for first release.
Wanted to switch gears a bit. We all have that one person in our life who is always kind of a light in the midst of a bunch of darkness. There's always that one person who's constantly encouraging us, like constantly telling us to follow our dreams when everyone else is kind of saying like, go for something easier. You're not going to make it, etc. And Arya, unfortunately, that person for you passed away. Could you talk about how that relative was super inspiring for you, how she always kept pushing you to go into the movie industry and follow your dreams?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I actually wanted to dedicate this. I felt it was right with such a golden opportunity like this to dedicate at least a couple minutes to her. I've known this auntie. Her name was Sri Lalita Mangabudi. I'll call her Lalita auntie, obviously. I've known her since I was born. She was there in the hospital when I was born. All of her parents went to college together, specifically the dads, and we all have those family friends in a group. But to me, she wasn't a family friend. To me, she was like an own mother. She was a very, very dear person in my life. And I was talking about Dear Comrade earlier, and I mentioned how we were seeing that with one of my mom's friends. For those of you that are listening to this podcast right now, if you can recall it, she molded the way how serious it is for me to be if I really want to enter such an industry. She gave me the reality of it. She was my first person to really support me in this journey, actually. So we went for Dear Comrade, and she was like, "Hey, Arya," she's like, "You really want to go in this industry?" I said, "Yes, like auntie, I really, really want to go." Most aunties that I've heard from, they all talk like, they don't talk shit about me, I'd say, but they all view me as different, right? Because I don't want to go into the basic STEM programs. But it felt nice to finally have someone to support me, Lalit auntie. I hope she's listening to this right now. But we went for Dear Comrade that day, and she was saying like, you want to go? And she's like, fine, good, you want to go? I'm happy. It feels good to finally see someone take a different path, is what she said to me. It's truly amazing, she said. And she was like, I remember immediately she gave me a list of movies to watch that have good acting in them. And she's like, you need to watch all these right now. As soon as you go home, she's like, Grace, so don't even assign him homework, because it was just something. She's like, don't even assign him homework for the next couple weeks. Make him watch all these movies. And my mom was sitting there in like awkward silence because she was gonna beat my ass when I go home. But like, no, it was truly one of the best moments of my life, actually. Closer to her passing time, sadly, was when I actually got the internship. And I remember I walked in on her room, and she was hooked up because she sadly passed away from cancer, and she's been struggling with this since when I was in 6th grade. And she's one of the strongest people that I know, and I will forever be in debt to her and in debt to God in general for introducing me to someone like this. But I walked in, and I told I needed to open up to a couple people at this time, because it's a very difficult time in my life. And I'm sure Nitin, you knew how much she meant to me, because I would always tell you about her. And I walked in the room, and she was lying there asleep, right? And I didn't want to make any noise because she was asleep. And she woke up right when I walked in, though, and she didn't say hi to me. She didn't even say my name. She said my name, and she was like, Arya, I heard you got this internship with Great India Films. I'm so happy for you. She's like, you're gonna make it. She's like, you're gonna do good things. She's like, you're meant for this shit. She's like, you're not meant for anything else. You're only meant for this. And I didn't even sit down yet. I sat down. I'm like, I just looked out. She kept going on and on. She was like, have you thought about colleges yet? Have you thought about, okay. She's like, I have a couple friends that are industry. I'll hook you up with them. I promise I will. You're talking all of this. She's like, I promise I'll be able to do that. I promise I'll be able to do that. And I can't even express the amount I want to in a podcast like this, because it's hard to express how thankful it is to be towards someone. But truly, I'm very thankful for her to be with, to even spend that time. And during the very, very last couple of days, I'm talking 3 days before she passed away, I went in her room, and she at this point could not talk. And I remember a lot of the kids didn't want to see her like that. It was very hard to see, but I still wanted to see her. And I went down there, and I asked the auntie, I was like, hey, can I have just a couple minutes alone in this room? I just want to just look at her, kind of. And I sat down, and I kind of spoke with her through my mind, and I just thanked her for every single thing that she contributed in my life. She meant a lot to me, and she told me how serious I should be about this if I really want to pursue it. She's the reason why I'm actually in the position today. She's the reason why I reached out to she's the reason why I'm actually doing this podcast, I would tell you, because old me would have been like, why would I want to talk about becoming an actor in front of people, random people in this whole entire world who could listen to this podcast. But this podcast to me is more important about reaching out to others rather than for me talking about myself. And she taught me that lesson, and she taught me how important it is to help others around you. She taught me how important it is for whatever art you give to give the best of your work, no matter what. So that's she. And out of the many, many, many aunties that have talked bad on my name or have looked at me differently, she was the first one who never did anything like that. So I'm always in debt to her. So I want to thank you so much for dedicating, for giving me a moment that I can dedicate to her for all the work that she has done for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful message because having that, like, as you're saying, that comrade there really helps out a lot.
Exactly.
So why don't you be the comrade for all the aspiring actors there and give them a couple of tips about obviously the tips question, we have to get to that. So if you could just give any general advice from your end about passion, motivation, anything like that, it's a free stage for you.
Yeah, and
So-
I'll add to Nathan really quickly. It doesn't necessarily just have to be for future actors. It can just be for anybody who wants to go into a film that is unconventional, or sorry, not a film, an area which is unconventional.
Wait, unconventional. Okay. I got him. So is this relating to the tips part, or is it gonna be separate, or what? Can you tell me?
Just any general advice.
Any general? Okay, for
Yeah.
sure. So I think I know exactly how I want to end this podcast. For all our viewers out there. Many of us are given a life. I don't want to sound very philosophical. I just saw Nathan turn to see and go like this really quickly. So no, many of us are given a life for one reason, guys. Our purpose in life can range from many things, right? Many of us, everyone's given a life. Everyone's given an equal opportunity to do something. Actually, I wouldn't say equal opportunity because some of us are not given the same opportunity as others, but we can reach that same level as any other person can. Who says we can't do anything? Who is there to define that for us, right? We can do anything we want to be, whether you want to be an actor, whether you want to be a president, whether you want to be a security guard, whether you want to be anything. You can be that. We're all given a life, and unfortunately, many people are also not given a life. Many people, like my Lalitanti's life, ended very early. Or many, there are many babies that pass away every day. There are many people that pass away in general every day, and they don't get to fulfill their opportunity that they wanted to achieve in life. So, if we are given this life, we are given the education, we are given the life, we are given the chances, then what the fuck are we not doing with it? We should be using every single thing we have to mold our future, to make what makes us happy. I don't want to sound redundant, but a lot of people out there don't do what the hell they want to do. I'm not the type of person that can get up every single day at 6 a.m., go to work, a 40-minute drive to work, go to work, sit my ass down, and type on a computer all day at a desk job, waiting to go home. I cannot do that. I don't have that in me. That's not me. And that is many others. That is not many others out there. Everyone has that same personality. No one wants to be doing a job that they don't want to do. That's everyone. Everyone wants to do something that they can do and that they like doing. The psychology behind it is that everyone is happy if they're working with the people that make them happy around them, and if they're doing what they want to do, you have a perfect life. You can't ask for anything more than that. I like to say this. Certain jobs, I'll say this example for a second. If someone has to climb up a tree and get a nut, and there's 3 animals, there's a dolphin, there's a monkey, and there's a horse. Who are you gonna pick? You're gonna pick the monkey, obviously, right? But is that work fun? Is that work different? Or is that the same work that monkey is always doing? No, right? It's the same routine work that you're doing every single day, and there's no fun to it, and there's nothing new to it. So you're given a life. How about you try something new? There's so many things that you can do in this world. You can conquer the world if you want to. You just have to put yourself to it. You have to be motivated. And who gives a fuck about the money? Who gives a fuck about what anyone thinks about you? No. It's your life. Your mom shouldn't be judging it to you. Your studies shouldn't judge it for you. It's your life. If you want that, you work for it. Nothing in life comes easy like on a silver platter. Nothing comes light on a silver platter. Everyone has to work for it. I worked for this podcast to even speak with Nitin today. I worked to speak with three great people, Nitin, Ayush, Rishi. I worked so I can have this opportunity. Nitin worked so he can make this podcast. Ayush worked so he can make this podcast come true. All three of these fine men, they all worked to make this whole entire podcast come together. Nothing in life comes easy, and you have to work for whatever you want. And coming back to Ayush's earlier point about whatever field it may be, I'm not talking to people that want to become actors, want to go into the film industry. No, if you want to be the CEO of a company one day, you work for it. I don't give two shits what anyone says. I don't care what the pay is. If you have to start off earning $7 per hour to make it to be the CEO of a company in 10 years, work for it. Do whatever it takes to make your dreams come true, because that is the only way they will come true. And no matter what job this is, no matter what you do, we are all given one life. We are all given an opportunity, and no one can take those two things away from us. No one can take our work ethic away from us. We all must use our life to the best advantage that we have. And to perfectly end this podcast, I want to say one more thing. If you guys are okay with it. Are you guys okay with it?
Yeah, go.
Nitin's laughing because he knows what I'm going to say. To all the aunties out there, to all the uncles out there that gave me this shit all this time for saying, oh, why don't you pick something better? Oh, get that thought away from your mind. You better. I'm gonna make you regret those words in the future. I promise I will. Because Arya Chalasani is coming better than ever, and he's gonna absolutely shape the future of this Telugu film industry. Make it easier for people like me to come into this industry. Make it easier for everyone. I'm gonna work my ass off. I'm gonna work 365 days a year, no stops, nothing, no breaks. From here on out, my whole entire life, I've had this dream of becoming an actor. For all people that have supported me, for all people that have hated me, I don't care what you say, because I'm gonna make sure that you throw those words up in the future, and you will regret saying them again. So yeah, Arya Chalasani is coming for the Telugu film industry. Peace.
Yep, I couldn't have put it any other way. So thank you so much, Arya, for your time. Thank you everybody for listening. And we'll see you next time. We have a lot of new speakers, a lot of great speakers lined up just like Arya. So thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
That's our show for today. Now roll the credits. High School Not So Much a Musical is hosted by Ayush Agarwal, Nitin Jaladanki, and Rishi Sinha. Narration by Samhit Padala. Music from Louis Luang Relaxation Cafe, Tune Pocket, and Infraction. If you like the show, please recommend it to your friends and family. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.